Hello lovelies, you're welcome back to another online tutorial with Jenie Concept. We'll be learning how to make this sequins turban cap which has this multi-bow design on it. This particular design was requested for by one of our subscribers, and here we are. To all our new viewers who are just clicking in for the first time, you are welcome. Please kindly do well to subscribe to our channel and also click on the bell icon before leaving. The materials required for today's tutorial include your sequins fabric, of which half yard will be more than enough. We also have the satin fabric, of which half yard will also be more than enough. Your scissors, your measuring tape, your matching color of thread and needle, your gum and applique for embellishment. Please note that in place of your satin fabric, you can also use your raw silk fabric or light poly fabric. This design which we are working on is a very simple design. It has two parts: the turban base, which will be made of the sequins fabric. I didn't line mine, you can go ahead to do that for yours. And then we'll also have the multi-bow design, which is made with the sequins fabric. And then finally a little piece of accessory or applique at the middle of the bow design for embellishment. Right here I have my sequins fabric already cut out, and the measurement for my fabric is 26 inches for the length, which is the head circumference, by 18 inches for the width. Now moving on to the fabric for the bow design, I have 3 different pieces of fabric. Their measurements are as follows. Starting with the smallest fabric, the measurement is 14 inches by 6 inches. So the length is 14 inches while the width is 6 inches. Then going over to the medium fabric, that is the second piece of fabric, the width is 8 inches and the length is 17 inches. That is 8 by 17 inches. And then the last but not the least, which will be the biggest piece of fabric, that is the third piece of fabric, the measurement is 20 inches by 10 inches. Now coming back to our sequins fabric, I'll place my sequins fabric on my working surface with the wrong side facing me, and then you see me folding one edge in. You determine the measurement because that part is going to be serving as your band. Then I folded it in by 2 inches. You can decide to use 1.5 inches. So after folding it in, I'll place it on my sewing machine and then sew it down from one edge of the fabric down to the other edge. Okay, so this is it. I used my pins to hold it in place earlier, and this is how it looks like after sewing. Now after sewing that band part, you fold your fabric into 2 equal halves with the fine side inside and the wrong side facing you. And then I'm going to get my measuring tape, and on that band part, remember that your 26 inches is across the stretchy part of your fabric, and our adult head size is about 22 or 23 inches. But because the fabric is very stretchy, I'm going to be working with 21.5 inches. So when I place my measuring tape on my fabric, I measure 21.5 inches and then mark it. Now please watch the position of my hand and watch the way I marked it. I marked it in form of a rectangle. So I'll place it on my sewing machine and sew it in that form, then sew from the band down to the end of the cap. I'm trying to achieve a little backdrop effect here. So right here I have my fabric. Please watch the position of my hand to get the explanation of the sewing method. So I had to stitch from the band and then down to the very end of the cap. Now as soon as that is done, we'll proceed with our running stitch, and my running stitch will start immediately after the band down to the end of the cap. So I'll just pass my needle and thread in and out and then secure this, then get back. This junction, I'm done making my running stitch. I'll flip my work over to the fine side, and then I will arrange my fabric so as to get the middle of the fabric. I'll also get my needle and thread because we're also going to be making gathers on the fine side of the sequins cap. And this is me passing my needle and thread from the wrong side of the cap to the fine side of the cap. And as soon as I'm done now, my needle is coming after the band part. Okay, and then I'll set my fabric in place and make a running stitch across the middle until I get to the end. So this is it now. So at this junction, I'm done making my gathers in front at the middle part and also at the back. Now we'll go ahead to work on our bow design. Now get each piece of fabric and then sew round, fold into 2 equal halves with the fine side inside and the wrong side outside, and then sew round the 3 open edges. Okay, I have my fabrics here all sewn, so all 4 edges are closed. Now I'll start with the first piece of fabric. I'll get it, fold it into 2 equal halves and fold it into another 2 equal halves. Then I'll locate the middle point. Now I'm trying to separate the fabric into 2 different parts. Then I'll get my scissors and make a small notch at the middle part, and I'll turn my fabric inside out from that notch made at the middle. Now I'm going to go back to repeat the same thing for the other 2 pieces of fabric that are left. So this is me now trying to turn my fabric inside out from that tiny notch that was made at the middle. So you can see that it's actually very possible. Now I'm setting my fabric in place, and while working with satin fabric, it's very important that you iron your fabric after each step so as to straighten your fabric and bring out the beauty of your work. So I'll do this for the others, and turn my fabric inside out and iron it out to straighten it. Now I have all 3 pieces of fabric turned inside out, so I'm going to arrange it one after the other according to their size. I started with the biggest size, now I have the medium size, and finally the smallest size. So I'll go ahead to create my bow design, so please watch to see how I achieved that. So I'm trying to fold it into 2 equal halves, and then I'm going to be folding again and again until I get it perfectly. So that is it. And as soon as that is done, it's expected that I'll get my needle and thread and then make a sewing stitch at the middle of my fabric. Please ensure that your sewing stitch is at the middle of your fabric so that one side of your bow will not be longer than the other side of the bow than the other side. So this is me now stitching and using my thread to wrap around my fabric. I haven't gotten this. I'm now going to get the turban cap that we had sewn earlier in addition to the bow fabric, and then we'll go ahead to join both together so as to give us our full turban cap. You can use your candle gum and glue gun to glue your design to your turban cap, or go ahead to tag down with your needle and thread, and thereafter use a little piece of accessory to embellish the middle part. And then at the end of the day, this is what we get. So it's a very beautiful, simple and easy tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have watched this video until now. Give this video a thumbs up, like and leave a comment in the comment section. Until our next tutorial, bye.